Welcome to Main Street Prep Clarksville. My name is Brady McTamney, as always, your host. Just a heads up for this week's episode, I am battling a pretty nasty head cold here, so if my voice sounds any different, that's because I'm battling a sore throat, stuffy nose, so a little ASMR Brady for this week. But as always, fun show coming up. I got a couple guests for this week. We're going to be talking some football, local football in the area. Starting off with the new kids on the block. It's going to be the Kirkwood Cobras as we talk with Chad Watson, the first ever head coach for Kirkwood High School football. Chad, how you doing today?
Hey, doing good, man. Thanks for having me on. Hope you get better quick. We got the little strep bug going through our house too, so I feel your pain.
Man, well, I hope it's not strep. I'm thinking maybe allergies, but if I can avoid strep, that's ideal for sure. I hope your house is doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. But I imagine you're doing all right because it's summer football season, man. And I know every coach loves to kind of get that first look at their team, but especially you because you're getting their first look at a program. Not just bringing back some guys from last year. You got an entirely brand new roster. How's it been, just getting your very first look at this entire program?
I'm excited about where we are. I think us being able to have spring practice kind of sped up the process of where we would be on May the 30th when we started. So that was really beneficial for us and our kids. Right now we're sitting at currently 73 kids on the roster. We've got different kids doing different things with trips and stuff in the summer. So we've been averaging about 65, 66 kids at practice. So for a first year program, I think honestly where we're at right now, we're at a pretty good place. I'm excited, but also know we got a long ways to go.
Yeah, definitely. You said that number, what is it, about 73? They're in kind of that 70s. Is that kind of about the numbers that you expected, or is that higher or lower?
It's probably a little higher, honestly, than what I thought year one starting a new school. We ordered 80 jerseys, so that's kind of going to be our cap. I mean, we'll take more kids. We'll rotate them around and figure out who dresses what Friday night. But, yeah, we're pretty happy with where our numbers are right now.
Yeah, that's definitely impressive for a first year. And you guys are practicing at Austin P because your field obviously still coming along, whole building still kind of coming along. How's that been, getting kind of practice there right in front of the Dunn Center?
Honestly, I think it's really, really good. I mean, I think the facility we're getting to use, Austin P's done a really good job. Overall, just their facilities have improved dramatically since the time before when I played at Austin P. But that field in front of the Dunn Center that we get to use every day, I mean, it's been hit with a real mower. It's like a game surface. So we feel really, really fortunate that our guys get to practice out there every morning. And I think it's also kind of training our guys to get ready for Friday nights because we get to load up the bus and bus over every single day. So I think it's a cool experience.
Is that kind of like an early team building thing? Like you said, kind of loading up that bus and busing over, because obviously a lot of these guys aren't going to really know each other because they haven't been to school with each other yet.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a lot of time that they're getting to spend. I mean, roughly, if you don't hit traffic, it's at least 18 to 20 minutes on the bus every single day that they're getting to bond and interact with their teammates. Our freshman class is probably our largest class, and our senior class is our smallest class. So those two guys share a bus, and we get our older guys interacting with our young guys, and the sophomores and juniors bus over on the other bus. So yeah, I'm hoping relationships are being formed on that bus, and coaches are on the bus, like trying to teach up the guys and coach them up and use every minute that we get every single day.
Yeah, definitely very cool. Now, looking at some of the players that you got, some of the talent levels, how some of the practices have gone, what's kind of been your first impression of the team?
I think we got skill, or offensively, our skill guys, I feel like we got a little more depth than what we do on the line. We're going to be a little younger on the line. I think we got good linemen. We're maybe not as big as other teams in the city, but I think those guys are working really, really hard. Just a few kids that stand up. Perry Cross-Sneed coming from Northeast, 6'2", 210-pound kid, going to play inside linebacker, going to play running back for some. Trevor Newell, one of our seniors coming over from Rossview, another 6-foot-plus kid, 215, 220, going to play at the other inside linebacker. Those two kids physically are ready to play right now, and they're doing a really good job being our leaders early on. Jordan Bowser coming over from the Northeast is another senior who's looked really, really good. Zan Woods from Rossview. Like we've got some older kids in the skill position that I think are ready to play physically and are doing a really good job of learning our system. Lee Bugs is right now repping first team quarterback, going to be a junior, not played quarterback before. He's been a receiver, but is really starting to understand the way we're going to run our offense and how to go through progressions and take a drop and actually be a quarterback. So, and I could name a lot of different kids, but those are a few that's kind of really stood out for us so far.
So it sounds like some athletes for sure have been coming in and getting on that practice field. Now, as far as so you got a practice field, but how about weight rooms? Have you guys had any opportunities to get into weight rooms and hit benches or anything like that? Do you have anything like that available?
Yeah, so we're very fortunate that Kirkwood Middle School and Miss Boss, the principal over there, is allowing us to use their facilities this summer. So we've got 6 racks that we've set up in the auxiliary gym at Kirkwood Middle. So we've lifted, our skill guys lift 2 days a week, and our big guys and our linemen lift 2 days a week. So we're able to get that in. And on days they don't lift, we've also got a classroom that we're able to watch film and break down practice and kind of learn and grow that way as well.
I noticed that you guys got a little drone too. How's that been?
Oh, it's awesome. This is my first time having a drone, and I will never not have one just because it's so easy. You can put it up in the air and lock it in and just films practice, and you can see everything with a great view. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of drones for sure now.
Yeah, I love that for sure. Now tell me a little bit about your coaching staff. I know kind of as you guys are making the hires, kind of tweeting them out here and there, kind of telling everyone what these guys are about. But tell me about some of, your guys that are on the staff that's going to kind of help Kirkwood get its feet off the ground.
All right, I'm offensively, our offensive coordinator is Michael Gill. He's a younger guy. He was with me at Gallatin. He's a product of Wheaton, Illinois. He played football at Wheaton College. Like I said, this is his second year coaching with me. Mike is one of the most hardworking coaches I've ever worked with. Extremely bright young coach who works so hard and wants to be good. And he's spearheading things for us offensively. He's also coaching the offensive line. Our defensive coordinator is Zach Eaton. Zach has been with me longer than anybody. I think this is his 7th or 8th year coaching with me. He helped me at Clarksville Academy when I was there as a defense coordinator. He's going to do our defense. Much like Michael, really hard worker, intelligent football mind, has grown so much in the time that he's been coaching with me from getting his first start. And our special teams coordinator is Kelvin Young. Me and Kelvin played together at Austin Peay. He actually coached at Tyner in Chattanooga last year and won a state championship there, coaching their linebackers. He's going to coach our safeties on defense and head all special teams. But overall, from top to bottom, I mean, I could name off all of our coaches. Like, we've got a really good staff who's showing up on a daily basis, working hard for our kids. Scheme-wise, like Coach Gale, me and him are doing the offense together. We're going to look very similar to what Tennessee runs and the tempo that they run, up-tempo spread. Going to run the football, throw fast screens, try to take shots downfield defensively. Coach Eaton's more or less based on Saban principles and a lot of that 4-2-5 base defense. And Coach Young, we're going to let him take special teams and roll with it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, that Tennessee offense definitely works, and the Saban defense definitely works. So if those get implemented right, man, Kirkwood could be looking pretty good year one. Now, of course, you guys have had your schedule set for a little while here. What are some dates that you guys have kind of had circled, or some dates that you guys are really looking forward to? Of course, I expect opening night being one of those.
Yeah, I think opening night's the big one. Just getting ready for that. But honestly, like right now in the situation we're in, we're just trying to focus on us as much as possible. And I told our guys, like, we got to get good enough to where we're relevant. We got to get good enough to where our game means something to everybody else in the city. Like, if you're not competitive, it don't matter. So we got to earn that right. And that's what we're really concentrating on right now. But obviously, the Sycamore game, actually getting to play, is going to be really fun, really exciting. And our first home game against Central, that's also a big one. Then right after that, I mean, you got 2 huge games. Then week 3 is the biggest game of all of those because we got Northwest for our first region game. So, I mean, right off the bat, 3-4 huge football games because, I mean, our region's so big that every week counts for sure.
Yeah, you just said it. The region, it's huge. I was going to mention that actually right here, right here. what is it, 7, 8 teams, and of course only 4 of those teams get to go to the postseason. But at the same time, it's not quite last year where you have your Beach, Gallatin, Hendersonville, Clarksville High, all teams like that kind of battling to get into those spots. It seems a little more wide open, ironically, considering that there are so many teams, but not necessarily as many powerhouses as that last region that you were in last year. Is that an exciting thing for you guys, that maybe there is a chance that you guys get that one of those top 4 spots this very first year?
I think it's really exciting that you're guaranteed at least 3 Clarksville, Montgomery County schools are going to make the playoffs, which I think is a great move by John Miller and everybody involved to have this region for us. And if Dixon doesn't make it, then you have 4 teams. But yeah, I would be lying to you if I said that's something that we're not chasing, is to make a playoff run year one, or to get in the playoffs year one. But I know we're not in there with Beach and Hendersonville and Gallatin anymore. But if you look at the last year, like Clarksville High, they were as good as anybody in that region. And you look at West Creek knocking off Hendersonville later in the year. So there's really good football in Montgomery County. We just got to compete and get to where we can get to that level and compete with the teams around here. I've actually reached out to Murphy Fair and a few other people. There's been one school that's made the playoff year one, and that was Nolansville in 2017 of the school opening. So we're trying to do that. That's what we're chasing after. And there's never been a school to have a winning record and make the playoffs year one. So that's another thing that we're talking to our kids about, and our kids are aware of, and that's what we're chasing day in and day out.
Yeah, that's an exciting prospect to be able to be, one of the first teams ever to do something like that. Now, as we wrap up here, why don't you just kind of give me a little bit of a schedule, kind of a plan that you guys have here as this summer kind of continues on as we head toward August.
So Monday through Thursday for the month of June up until the dead period, our kids arrive at 7:30. We take attendance and we'll bus over to Austin P. We'll practice at Austin P from 8 to 10. Then we'll come back over, like I said earlier, like our skill guys will lift one day and the linemen will be in the film room watching film, and we'll keep them till 11:15, and that's our normal day. So pretty much from 8 to 11:15, we're working Monday through Thursday in the month of June. We're going to throw with East Robertson, and at the last week of June, then we come back in July off of the dead period. We'll stay in the mornings, similar routine. We'll go to the Lebanon 7-on-7. That's a really good 7-on-7 that first week back in July. Then we're going to go to the Hopkinsville 7-on-7 that same week on Friday and Saturday. Then from that point on, it's going to be full-on morning practices from 8 to 11:15, 11:30 until we get into that acclimation week when we start putting the pads on and stuff. And we'll scrimmage Green Hill that week, which is going to be a huge test for us after everything they've done over the past 3 years. Josh Crouch is a good buddy of mine, and I think he's kind of laid out the blueprint how you want to start a program and get it up and going. So he's been someone I've talked to quite often, him and Coach Rice, that started up Rockville. Then the following Tuesday, we will scrimmage Maplewood. Then the following Friday, we'll take on East Robertson. And then we go to the Jamboree at East Robertson playing Greenbrier. So that kind of leads you all the way up through summer, getting ready for week one for us.
There you go. Jam-packed summer for Kirkwood. Obviously, can't wait to see those guys come out week one in that sharp blue and orange and rep the Cobras and hopefully get a win that very first week. Chad, thank you so much for joining me, man. I'm really looking forward to coming out to a practice and seeing what you guys got.
Thanks, Brady. Appreciate your time.
All right, we're going to take a quick 3-minute break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Isaac Shelby, head coach of the Clarksville High Wildcats.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You
really good drive.
There aren't any cops around.
Didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Tell me your name, sir. Where you are right now?
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
Vroom, vroom. Time for the Rackley Roofing 200, and it is going to be June 23rd out at the Nashville Super Speedway. And we partnered up, all of us here at Main Street Media TV, and we have joined with Rackley Roofing to send you. Yep, what you got to do to win? All you got to do is go to your favorite Main Street Media website, look for the Enter to Win banner, click there, and you're in. Like Flynn. Isn't that cool? Main Street Media TV and Rackley Roofing sending you to the races.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back to MSP Clarksville. As always, I'm Brady McTamney. We just had a great talk with Kirkwood head coach Chad Watson, of course, bringing up a brand new program here in Clarksville. But let's go to a program that's been around for a long, long time. Isaac Shelby, head coach of Clarksville High. Isaac, how you doing today?
Pretty good, Brady. How are you?
Doing good, man. So we've talked a little bit the past couple months about how you guys have been kind of working on a pretty cool project here at CHS, kind of looking back at the history of Clarksville High football. Tell me a little bit about that program, some of the cool stuff that you guys might have found.
Yeah, we've kind of gone back and looked at some historical numbers and stuff. There's been so many coaches here throughout the years that occasionally a kid will say, like, yeah, what's the record for like rushing in a season, and nobody really knows. So we had a couple coaches that don't work in the building that can't get to the weight room in the off season because they're non-faculty, and they kind of took that over and went back through some old Leaf Chronicles and Old Tennesseans and some other publications they could find online and kind of put together like the top tens in a bunch of different statistical categories, which has been really cool. And it kind of uncovered some stuff. Like I think the school's like third all-time leading passer was a guy named Mike Johnson in 1967 that just had like an incredible like statistical year that seemed like unexplainable, you know. Just some pretty cool stuff like that we found.
Yeah, really cool. And didn't you guys find a guy who played in like the MLB or the NFL or something from like way back when?
Yeah, there was a guy that his name was Hod Lisenby, and like he played left guard for us in like 1922 or something like that. But had like a 17-year Major League Baseball career. Kind of uncovered that by accident, but that was pretty neat. We found a bunch of things like that just kind of add to the history of the school.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. And actually, kind of adding another piece of history this year is you guys are going to be having your 100th meeting with Springfield coming up this season. I know you guys are planning to kind of make a big celebration out of that for Springfield, Clarksville High, a big rivalry. Tell me what you guys have kind of uncovered with that and some of the plans for that 100-year celebration.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Coach Wilson and I and some of the Springfield people and Clarksville people have been getting together and talking about turning that into like a trophy game. So we've got a pretty cool idea on that we're working on. it's one of the longest running rivalries in Tennessee. There's a lot of history there, and just kind of going through some old stories. Found an old book about Clarksville High football that had a lot of Springfield stuff in it too, just comparing the two and coming up with a neat idea for that. It has been like a fun off-season project.
Yeah, and then I've also heard that this year's matchup between Clarksville High and Montgomery Central is going to be the first in, gosh, I don't even remember how many years, 40-something years, because the last time Clarksville High and Montgomery Central met, there was a big fight or something like that, and they weren't allowed to meet again up until now. Is that something that's kind of been talked about?
I don't know about that one, but I will get on that and try to figure that out. It's been a long time since we played Central, but we both had a week one opening, and it's an adjacent school zone to us now. So you know how they kept changing them. There's a large part of what like used to be Clarksville High Zone, like Edmondson Ferry, like down by the bypass and stuff. That's now Montgomery Central. So there's a lot of there's just a lot of people that were Clarksville High people that are now Central people and vice versa. And, it gives us a chance to play every team in the city, which I think is pretty cool. It was just one we, couldn't pass up, I think.
Yeah, I know something that Clarksville High takes a lot of pride in is their city champs. What is it, 5 years running or something like that? But that's gonna be fun for sure. Is getting another game against another city/county opponent. So looking forward to seeing that one go. But let's talk about the team that you guys are going to be fielding there for week one. How have things been going so far as you guys have been kind of getting in this early stage of the summer?
Pretty good. I like our depth. We're turning a lot of linemen. Obviously we're going to miss some of the skilled players that that we lost, but I like the guys that are replacing them, and I like the depth of it. There's a lot of quality football players, I think, on this team, and we'll kind of see how it shakes out by the time we get to August.
Yeah, of course, those departing seniors had won 3 straight years with a playoff game win. Do you feel like that's something that has set an example to these guys who are now coming in as seniors and juniors and even sophomores?
Yeah, I think anytime you can raise the expectation, and I think the past few classes have done that. It's hard to get in the playoffs, at all, and it's definitely hard to win the first round. So I think that, just them raising the expectation. I think last year, winning a home playoff game, I think it was the first time since like 2007, was a really cool deal. That was fun for our community, good for our community. So I think the expectation level is just a little bit higher, and we just got to continue to try to raise it the best we can.
Yeah, and speaking of community, the entire county now, outside of Montgomery Central, is going to be in the same region this year. I know it doesn't necessarily have the same competition level as the one you guys were in before, getting to play teams like Beach and Gallatin and Hendersonville every year, but it's going to make for just so many rivalry games, and I would imagine draw some bigger crowds and have at least 3 Clarksville teams in playoff games. Do you foresee that being something that's big for the football community here?
It may. I mean, anytime you play somebody in town, obviously the crowd is going to be bigger. It's hard. It's hard for people, especially like the way like traffic and stuff is in Nashville. Like you're playing on a Friday night in traffic. If you're playing on a Friday night in Nashville, there's a lot of people that just may listen to it on the radio or check score on your Twitter or something like that. So I think the crowds will get bigger. And it'll be neat to kind of renew some rivalries against really quality teams that we haven't been able to play in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the Rossview game, that's always exciting. The Northeast game is always going to be a fun one. Based off how last year's teams were, do you have any inkling of how, that region might shake out? Some teams that you guys might be wary of?
I don't know. I think it's wide open. Half the region we haven't played in 4 or 5 years, so you don't really know as much about them. It's anytime you get a new region, it's a complete toss up. You just don't know those people as well, and you don't get as much like cross trade film on them. You don't see as many games that they've played. So it's really, I don't really know. Anything could happen probably.
Definitely. And then, are you guys still matched up with Memphis for the post, or rather matched up with Metro for the postseason?
Yeah,
Or is it
Memphis.
back to Memphis?
No,
Back
it's
to
Memphis.
Memphis.
Yeah, it's Memphis. Yeah. So,
what are your thoughts on that? Would you prefer Metro?
I don't know. It's really good football in both places. It's easier to travel to Metro. Definitely. If you get the 3 or 4 seed, we've gone down to Memphis and played playoff games before, and it's just tough to get down there. It's a changes the school day. Usually have to leave early. You got to get some sort of charter bus if you can. It's kind of a grind of a trip to travel down there 3 hours, 4 hours, and then get off a bus and expect to play your best football.
Yeah, not that you should need extra motivation to win, but does that kind of make you guys want that top 2 seed even more, knowing that you would have to plan through all that?
I mean, it would definitely help. I think everybody's trying to avoid that trip. We played a bunch of teams down there in the past, and Mumford, and it's just so wildly different. Like if you're playing Mumford at 7:00, you almost have to leave school at like noon. And then you got to find somewhere to eat on the way, and stop the bus, and get out and walk, and you're going to a place you've never been before, and it's just. It's difficult to win a football game traveling that far for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
For high school.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as we wrap up here, why don't you give us kind of a little look ahead at kind of what Clarksville High's summer looks like here? Some camps that you guys are going to, what practices are going to be, and kind of what it's going to look like leading up to August.
We practice in the morning, 8 to 11. We try to get the kids in and out as quick as possible. Booster Club's done a really good job of getting them fed each day on the way out of here, because we have a lot of guys that leave here and go to basketball at noon or baseball at noon, and just a lot of two-sport athletes. And then we'll take dead period, try to get our legs back under us, and then really get rolling after that. It's kind of a whirlwind after that. We're going to scrimmage Creekwood, Mount Juliet, and then we're going to jamboree with Gallatin the week after Mount Juliet. So got some really good football teams, scheduled to play, and try to prepare us for this year.
Absolutely. Very exciting stuff. Well, Isaac, thank you so much for joining, and look forward to seeing you guys and at practice and getting a little look at the 2023 Wildcats.
Yeah, come over anytime, man.
You bet. Thanks, man.
All right. See you.
All right, and excuse me, that'll kind of be it for the Clarksville show today. Always good to talk some football coaches, football teams are getting out there and practicing. I think it's been about a week or so here since they started practicing, and of course, looking forward at the football season. Like I mentioned, that that all Clarksville region is going to be absolutely exciting to watch. I've talked with some coaches there. It's going to bring some great gates for teams looking to make some money and concessions and all that. But it's also going to, kind of spark some bigger rivalries, games that we don't necessarily always see. Kenwood Northeast is always a fun one. That's going to mean even more now because they weren't in the same region last year. West Creek and Kenwood's always a fun one too. Clarksville High, Montgomery Central is going to be a great game. It won't be a region game, but I'm looking forward to seeing that one again for the first time in a while. First time since I've been here. It's the first time since most of us have been here, seemingly. It's going to be an awesome football season, of course. As the summer goes on, we're going to talk more about that. But kind of some preliminary talks here with Chad Watson and Isaac Shelby. Again, thank you to them for coming on the show, as always. And I will talk to you guys next week.